Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of Sweet Hand Caribbean Cooking with Sarina. I'm Sarina, and today I'm going to be making a dinner for you. I've been taking it a little easy the last few weeks, and now I'm diving right in with a full course dinner. The dessert I will leave up to your imagination, but tonight it's going to be a spicy fried chicken. I'm going to be doing my signature plantain baked in orange sauce. I always get asked to make this whenever I do for entertaining purposes. I'm also using Bodi, which are also known as yard-long beans. I'm going to be making them in a garlic sauce, and to bring it all together, to wash it all down, an ice-cold rum punch. So before I get into that, before we get these pots going, we just get down there to the gallery. My guests this week, first of all, is Alicia Saldenha, who I went to high school with and who is now in Osaka, Japan, a lecturer by day, university lecturer by day, soulful jazz songstress by night. Doesn't get more intriguing than that. She has 2 songs from her CD, or which you can also get on iTunes, Dance in the Sun. So that's going to be really wonderful. It's going to be quite a treat. Next to her is George Cohen. Hi, George.
Hi, how you doing, Sarina?
Yes, he's a regular. People here on G Plus are very familiar with George, and it's always a joy to have him and Marilyn, who is a few pictures down, in the hangout here with me on Sweet Hand. Next to George is my good friend Giselle, out there in Washington, D.C. We went to high school together, and we've been besties ever since. So it's a bit of a high school reunion on Sweet Hand today. So this is her first time on the show. Hi, Giz.
Hi.
And next to her, old favorite John, back in Scotland.
Good evening and welcome.
Yes, and
Thank
he's
you,
really
Sarina.
jazzed about today's show. See, I did a little pun there. Jazz, okay. Next that is Marilyn, who's also in Mountain View, just like George. They're actually in the same place. They're just in different rooms. Don't get confused. And next to Marilyn is Petra. And I've known Petra for years. We've never met. She's another Trini living in Japan, in Canada right now, but I met her when she was Tokyo Trinbago. And she's going to be a guest cook on Sweet Hand next week. So this is a little bit of an introduction to Petra. She's going to be busting a callaloo, so I can't wait to see what that's going to be like next week. I know, right? Woohoo! So let me get started. The first thing I'm going to get into the oven is my plantain, because you know I like to have one oven dish most of the time. It makes your life so much easier when you have multiple dishes to make in one time frame. So this is my plantain. It's already been sliced thinly, lengthwise, which is a little more unusual. People normally slice theirs crosswise, but I really like the presentation of the lengthwise. And it's in a 9-inch Pyrex dish, or you can just use a oven-proof baking dish. And very simple dish, because it's just the plantain sliced in a buttered dish. And over that, I'm going to add this sauce. So the sauce is orange juice, some citrus zest, a lot of cinnamon, a lot of nutmeg, and some sugar. And that sauce is really what's going to caramelize and soften the plantain and bring everything together. So when you're done, it's going to be almost candied, but not quite. It's still going to be savory enough to enjoy with chicken. And for this, I don't use overripe plantain, but I do want ripe plantain. You don't want to use green plantain for this dish. It's not going to work as well. So you can see here the sauce. And I'm just going to put that into a 350-degree oven, and it's going to be there for 45 minutes. Out of sight, out of mind. Now we can move on to the next thing. My chicken. Like I said, I'm doing spicy fried chicken, but I'm doing it with a bit of a twist. There's not going to be any batter on this chicken. We're frying it just with the skin on, the bone-in skin on, but there's no need for a heavy floury batter. I've used Trinidad green seasoning as the base of the marinade of the chicken, and if you've been watching the show, you know that is complete with shadow benny, also known as culantro, chive, pimento peppers. Anybody want to help me out here with what else I put in it? But I put a little bit of a twist, because this time I put some sugar, I put some 5 spice, and I put some ginger in it as well. And that is to bring out the sweetness of the chicken as it fries, and that's going to be accented by the plantain. So it's all going to tie in together. I hope you see what I'm doing there. So I've got my oil already up to temperature, and the way that you know that the oil is ready is you stick a wooden spoon into the oil, the handle of it, and if bubbles immediately form around the handle, your oil is ready to go. And that is what's happening here. And we don't want to have the oil too hot because then it will start to burn or singe the chicken before the inside has cooked through. So we want to keep it on a kind of a medium roll so that the chicken cooks through before it starts developing that gorgeous color on the outside. So if you can see, I've got my chicken here, and that's the marinade that has been on it. Everybody's so quiet. Oh gosh. And that's just going to go in the oil. Ah, you hear that?
We're paying attention.
Yep.
How long did you have that chicken in the marinade, Sarina?
I marinated it overnight.
Okay.
I would recommend a minimum of 2 hours, but I like to do it overnight. So I'm just placing them in carefully so that they don't splatter and they don't cause splatter. Because the liquid on the marinade interacts with the oil and causes that rapid roll that you're hearing right now. And this is another set it and forget it dish, because once it's in here, we're just checking to make sure the oil doesn't get too hot. But it's going to just do its thing for the next 30 to 40 minutes, 30 to 35, maybe 40 minutes for the darker pieces. And it'll be fine, so we don't have to do anything more where that is concerned. So cooking doesn't have to be stressful or complicated. Even though I know for Alicia, those Japanese apartments, her kitchen is not that expansive. She doesn't have an oven. It's on her wish list. So, so the plantain might be out of the question. But maybe you could try frying the chicken.
But the chicken would be good, yes.
Yeah. You can find plantain online now in Japan.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me look for
Yes,
it.
please send me the link.
Yes.
I miss that so much.
So now I'm just going to start my rice. Very simple, just plain white rice. That's just going to accompany our dish. And again, it just shows, you can have several things going at once. Once you know how to paste the recipe, you're not going to be running around like a chicken. Things aren't going to be burning or setting on fire simultaneously. Just stagger the recipes a little bit, and you'll be fine. So I always toast my rice a little before I add the water. I don't know if that's how you all do it, but I find it works really well for me that way. Any questions so far?
Could you use regular bananas instead of plantain?
Sorry, say that again?
Could you use regular bananas instead of
I would not
plantain?
recommend regular bananas because they don't hold up to the cooking process as well as plantains. Plantains are very dense and they're very starchy, and they don't puree or fall apart or mush into mush the way bananas would. If you were going to use bananas, I would probably go for underripe bananas. But I don't know how the finish, because it would lose that sweetness. But the texture is more like an underripe banana. So for this particular dish, I would say to stick with the plantain, or if you're going to use a banana, cook it for less time and probably treat it as a dessert, because it's going to have a lot more sweetness. The sweetness of the banana is going to be intensified, through the baking.
Yes, I tried banana in desperation once, but
What?
I tried frying banana in desperation once when I was missing plantain so much, but it didn't come out very well.
No, bananas are post. I mean, they look like they should be interchangeable. They look like twins, but they're really not. They're cousins, I guess, more than siblings. Yeah, so that's my rice, which I'm just going to bring up to a boil. All right. And while it comes up to a boil, I think we could probably have our first musical number. What do you say?
Ooh.
And this one is called "Don't You Wish I Was Your Woman." It's from, again, Dance in the Sun, which is Alicia's self-released album. Yeah, self-released on her own label. Very impressive. You know, Trini women doing things. And it's on iTunes. I know it's on the US iTunes, the Japan iTunes. So check it out. Everybody mute. And don't forget to go into the studio, Alicia.
Okay. Trying to set everything up. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry.
You can.
Okay.
I can be your boy when it rains, and I can play your violin till you scream my name. I could be the light in your mood, and I can fill your savor with the forester. Don't you wish I was your woman? I know you wish I was your woman. Yeah. Don't you wish I was your woman? I know you wish I was your woman. I could be the match that makes your kingdom come. But you're so right, baby. You like shine the sun. Yeah, I can be the talk that makes you tick, and I can be the candy on your candy stick. Yeah, don't you wish I was your woman? I know you wish I was your woman. Yeah, don't you wish I was your woman? Yeah, I know you wish I was your woman. I can be the star that makes you trek, and I can be the cross of love you can't forget. No, I can be the reason to your eyes, and I can be the redemption for all your crimes. Yeah, don't you wish I was your woman? I know you wish I was your woman. Yeah, don't you wish I was your woman? I know you wish I was your woman. Yeah. Thank you.
Bravo.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That was fabulous.
Voice. So we don't have that echo in it.
Okay.
That was really amazing. Told you all. Lecture by day, songstress by night. So I saw a question on the event stream from Ria, which was a very good question about how do you make sure that the chicken is fried nice and crispy while making sure that the bone is cooked, that it's cooked through to the bone, that you don't have bloody, which you can't eat. You can't eat undercooked chicken. That's just not possible. And again, if you make sure that the oil is up to temperature, that it is forming those bubbles around the spoon handle, that's a very good sign. Likewise, I wish I could bring the camera a little closer, but you want to have a steady rolling boil on the oil, and so that you want to be sure that it's not just sitting stagnantly in the oil. And likewise, you want to make sure it's not over crisping. So like right now, it's not darkening yet, which is a good sign. That means that the heat is having time to penetrate down to the bone and to cook before the outside starts to change color. So if you find the outside is starting to change color too quickly, then you want to turn down the heat, because then you're going to have the chicken crispy on the outside but still undercooked on the inside. Okay, so my rice is coming to come, the way rice does. I'm just turning down the heat there on it, and what I'm going to start now is the Bodi. And this is just a very simple dish, and Bodi is what we call yard-long beans, and I don't know how familiar most of the viewers are with them, so I'm just going to show them right here. And as you can see, they really are long. You could tie them into knots, and who knows what else you could do with them. And we call it Bodi here in Trinidad. And the taste is very similar to a green bean. I use it interchangeably with green beans in recipes. What's different between it and a green bean is the texture. It's firmer, and it holds that firmness, that texture much longer in cooking. So you'll find it will stand up to long cooking without turning into mush or softening the way that green beans would. And here we normally pair it assertively either with like tomato or curry, but I'm kind of making a garlic sauce, a very smooth, gentle garlic sauce for this dish. Again, just to be the connector and a bit of a contrast between the chicken and the sweetness of the plantain. So to start, I know I've already used a lot of oil to fry it, but you're going to see, if you're super health conscious, you might want to avoid my pot right now. I'm going to put about a half cup of margarine here. That's going to be the basis of our sauce. I'm just going to melt that down with 4 cloves of garlic, which have been chopped, along with some thyme and some salt. So we're just going to bring that all together. Let's move that lid out of there. Yeah. And you can smell it already. Like if you were here in the kitchen, you would smell the garlic and the butter and the thyme. And I think that's a really lovely smell. And this is the foundation of our sauce. It's a very simple dish, not overcomplicated at all. What do you think so far, Jiz?
Good stuff. I'm feeling a little nostalgic, seeing that I've had the privilege of, having your sweet hand. So it's like.
I know. When Giselle was here, it was a joy to have her over for Friday night dinners, and but she moved on. She went onward. And so you see, it's very simple here. The sauce is practically done. That is the basis of the sauce. So what I'm going to add here is some ginger wine, just a splash. It's about a half cup of ginger wine. Again, just a very mild but pleasing side dish.
Oh, ginger wine, lovely.
I know, it adds that extra hint of a layer of like dynamism. Dynamism, is that the word? To the dish, to the flavor. And again, it's going to tie in with the ginger that was used to marinate the chicken. So I like to do that. I like to mirror flavors in dishes, even if the dishes aren't overtly one way, but they're pairing off of each other they're complementing each other.
Brilliant.
Thank you. So I'm just moving the bodi around here, just making sure it's coated.
How much bodi is this, Sarina?
It's a pound.
Okay.
And it's chopped into roughly 1-inch pieces.
Okay.
So you can see here. Let's see if I can just bring that up a little more. So that's just going to cook. It's just going to simmer really for the next long while. I have it on medium heat. I will see if I need to turn it down later. Where's my lid? I thought I took out my lid. Let me get the lid. There we go. And that's just going to sit there. So you see, you can have multiple dishes going on at the same time, and within an hour or so, dinner is ready. And you know, my chicken doesn't really need my maintenance at this point. The plantain is taking care of itself. The bodi is going to be taking care of itself. I'm going to cover the rice now. And at this point, we're just kind of playing wait and catch up, which I think is kind of awesome. So I'm going to take a little bit of a drink now. Time for my rum punch. So what I already have here is I have a half cup of lime juice. I have a half cup of grenadine. I have a cup of coconut water. When last you had a good coconut water, Giselle?
Oh, please.
Or Alicia? Anyway.
Sorry?
Malaysia.
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah, you have it good there, but gosh, you know, these days they've been actually trying to bring imported coconut water down here, and I don't really understand the point of that. Like the stuff that's actually in cardboard boxes that's just still on shelves. That makes no sense.
And they add a ton of sugar to it. It's
Exactly. Coconut water is not meant to last in a cardboard box on a shelf. If it does, there's something wrong. It's not coconut water. And I also have a cup of pineapple juice in here. And to that, I'm going to add my flask of white. Picking up. You probably saw enough of this over Carnival, Petra.
Oh, yes.
You understand?
Uh-huh.
And so that is basically it. I'm just going to pour it now. It has a really pretty pink color. Again.
Nice.
Oh.
Yummy.
I want one.
Right?
You're going to see me refilling this before the end of the show. I think I bear no responsibility for what might happen. So now we're about halfway through the cooking process of the plantain. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sprinkle, what I have here is 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm going to sprinkle that over the top. That's going to create a little bit of a crust, a little more of a increased caramelization, and I'm just going to heighten the sweetness of the dish. So I'm just going to take 2 seconds to do that. Oh, it's looking gorgeous. I wish you could see, but you'll see when I take it out. But it's really on its way. There, that's that. Any more questions on the event stream?
Have you got a link for the ginger wine, maybe? Was one question.
A link for the what?
Ginger wine.
Ginger wine. I don't. It's very common and easy to find here in Trinidad. I don't know if it's probably something that you would more find in an Asian market. It's not necessarily an Asian product here in Trinidad, but I'm getting the sense maybe it's something you would find in an Asian market. I don't know if anybody, Giselle, Petra, or Alicia are familiar with locating that particular ingredient overseas.
No, I haven't seen that.
Giselle's like, what? Don't bring me into this.
I just Googled it right now, and it shows there's some. I'll just post it. It says how to make it.
No, don't make it.
You can just buy it.
Yeah, just buy it.
Yeah, there's
Try an Asian market. I don't know, maybe they would sell it at a Caribbean market as well if there's a larger Caribbean store. But you know, as Petra has suggested, possibly Google as well. You do want a pre-bottled wine. Let me just grab the bottle that I use so you can see the type of packaging you're looking for.
perhaps this, I don't know, stones.
Yeah, this one is from Guyana.
Oh, okay.
And you see, it's just ginger wine. And it comes bottled like wine, but it's not wine. And in the supermarkets here, they actually sell it in the wine section. There's like a cooking wine section among the wines. So you either look in your cooking wine section or try an Asian market, maybe a Caribbean market.
Okay.
Hope that helps. Otherwise, feel free to use regular wine and maybe accent it with some grated ginger, some ground ginger, because that's really what the flavor of it is. It's like white cooking wine, just infused very strongly with ginger flavor. So my chicken is coming to come, and let me just bring a piece towards you. Let me see, let's try this. You can see it's starting to turn color, but the meat, the flesh is turning white, which is a really good sign. That means it's cooking through before it starts to crisp up and darken on the exterior. So we want that to continue just the way it is. We don't want to change anything.
I'm so sorry, I'm so far away.
You wish you could come over. You could have lunch. You could probably have a quick lunch here. Because I'm going to have leftovers. I'm not having guests over tonight, so I'm cooking it for an army here.
Rub it in. Just rub it in. Just rub it in.
I would love to have you all over. Definitely not a problem. Oh, yeah, you see that? The color is starting to come. That's exactly what I want to see and to smell when I lift the lid. Just that again, that aroma of garlic and butter. I could probably season it with a little salt now. I should have put that salt in a little bowl. Get my salt. A big salt pot. Yes. I'm not a big fan of over salting anything. I kind of just season as I go along and just very lightly, because I really think salt's supposed to bring out the flavor rather than to be a flavor in its own right. So that's what you'll see me doing there. I will just sprinkle a little bit as I go along, just to enhance the cooking. And you can see it's really turning bright green now, hopefully. And I'm just going to put the lid back on. What would you like one of, John? What did John say he wanted one of? I'm seeing John saying something in the chat.
Your rum punch.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could share it. It tastes really good. I'm trying to hold myself back from just taking like another a long sip of it. I'm trying to stay professional here. You know, keep it poised, keep it happening. I just want to kick back with that right now. So yeah, oh my, yeah, the chicken is definitely coming along. Very happy about that. No other questions? Wow, we're doing really fast today. I thought this was going to take forever. But it's moving along really quickly. I like that. Are there any other questions on the event stream?
Not so far.
Okay. Well, hopefully that means everybody is getting the answers that they want and that they need. So what do you normally find? What do you normally cook for yourself, Alicia, or do you eat out mostly?
I used to eat out most of the time. Recently, I started experimenting in the kitchen because, you know, I started being concerned about the kinds of food that you can find. There's so many food scandals now, and you know, so yeah, exactly. So, but I do things that are very, very simple. You know, finished in 30 minutes and lots of soups and lots of tofu and vegetables. But I enjoy watching your show and dreaming about the day I might actually try those recipes.
Thank you, thank you. Jason just snuck a drink of my rum punch. I was focusing on you. A hand just kind of moved up and you understand what's going on there. Well, no, I think that's great. I mean, do you find that your palate has expanded because of living in Asia for as long as you have?
I suppose so, yeah. I eat a lot of things now that I probably would have balked at before, and I've traveled around Thailand and Philippines, and so I've tasted lots of different, very interesting dishes that are so different from what we do at home. Yes, definitely.
I can well imagine. I'm sure it's like a culinary coup in a lot of ways. Have you ever tried, I know, because probably I would ask you and ask Petra, because I know Petra does cooking classes over there, any unique fusions perhaps of Trinifying Japanese dishes or adding a Japanese twist to a Trini dish? Have you ever done anything like that?
I'm not the person to ask that.
I know, I'm just seeing Petra swiveling.
I haven't really done too much of a fusion because I've tried to keep it as purely Trinidadian as I could.
I like that.
It's just in terms of finding dasheen leaf, like when I've made callaloo in Japan, I tended to use either spinach or I used some of the other greens that they had. Because it seemed like it was really tough to find dasheen leaves. Although people eat the taro, like
dasheen. Taro is very common there.
Right. They eat the actual vegetable, but the leaves are generally just cut off at the farm. So to get to the farm, it would be all the way somewhere way out in the boonies. That's what the grocers told me. I have to go directly to the farms to get dasheen leaf.
Wow. So yeah, much easier just to use spinach and call it a day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful. So my chicken is still coming along. My rice is probably done. I'm going to fluff it in a second. The bodi doesn't have much longer to go, actually. It should be done in about 3 minutes. And the chicken should be done in about 10 minutes. So I'm actually just going to turn up the heat a little, because I think it should be close to cooked through from what I'm seeing here. And it's turning a gorgeous color. But I'm just ready to encourage the outside a bit more now. And that should be done in about 5 to 10 minutes. You see, very stress-free. I know a lot of people are intimidated about having several meals going at once, and it really doesn't have to be a fuss.
In my case, I can only have 2 going at once because I only have 2 burners.
You have 2 burners. That's not even a stove. What is that? That's like a little hot pot situation.
Probably.
So do you make a lot of noodles, a lot of rice?
Actually, I try to cut down on the rice. I just do a lot of vegetables and a lot of tofu.
Oh, hi, Shelley. Shelley just joined us. This is Shelley Chapman from Eat Relate Love. And she was my guest cook last week here on Sweet Hand. And she made quite the impression with her jerk salmon nachos, avocado sauce, mango salsa. We look back in the archives on TriniGourmet's YouTube channel and you'll see it. It was an amazing episode. So, hi, Shelley.
Hi, Ann.
Hi. You've walked into a little bit of a Trini reunion here. I have 3 Trinis, 2 who either live or have lived in Japan, and my best friend from high school. So it's like a lot of Caribbean woman love up in here right now. So where I've reached right now in the episode, Shelley, is I have some chicken frying. I have some bodi or green beans simmering down here in a garlic sauce. I have plantain baking in orange juice in the oven, and I have some rice just steaming. So everything is about to just come together. Oh, and I have my rum punch. Cheers.
That sounds amazing.
So good. Have you ever cooked with bodi, Shelley?
Have I cooked with what?
Bodi, or it's also called yard long beans.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I brought a bunch here just in case some of the people out there didn't know it. I don't know. Have you seen this?
I can see it. I see Petra, but I don't see you.
Do you have it loaded? Okay. Highlight it. Are the rest of you seeing me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I was trying to show you it.
Sorry.
I
I see Marilyn. I see everyone but you.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh, that's so wrong. That's so rude. Maybe it's taking a while to load on your system.
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be.
Don't worry about it. Is that the link to the Bodi, George?
It is.
Okay.
Can you put it on the event stream as well? I'm sure some of the people
Yes,
out there.
I will. I'm just looking for the name of it
Okay,
again.
cool. George just found a Wikipedia entry for Bodi, so that's pretty epic. So let's see here. The Bodi should be almost done. It should be almost ready. I'm impressed. I've gotten through this without burning myself so far. It's pretty impressive in my book. Let me see here. It'll cook a little longer.
Do you see Bodi in Japan, Petra?
No, I don't think I did. Or maybe I did and didn't realize it. But honestly, I don't know. I've never cooked with it. And the thing is too, maybe my mother's Grenadian, so maybe she calls it something else. I can ask her.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
So you're Grenadian Trini?
Yeah, my mother was born in Grenada. My dad was Trini, so I'm Grenadian, Trini, Canadian.
That's awesome, because I'm Jamaican Trini. Shelley's Jamaican American.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, cultures colliding. That's right in center.
So that's also the thing. Like when in Japan, when people know that I was born and raised in Canada. So I'm a Canadian citizen. I'm also a Grenadian and a Trinidadian citizen too. So when people ask about what is Canadian culture, I would kind of have to start by saying I represent Caribbean culture. And that's actually where I started off with the blog and with the website, is just to kind of explain that what you see is not what you get. You get a lot more.
Definitely. I think people have a very one-dimensional view of the Caribbean and Caribbean life, and even the Caribbean islands, not really seeing the distinction between them. And I often say it's so funny because in Europe, people have no problem seeing differences between Italian, French, and German, and they're one landmass. We're divided by water.
Exactly.
And yet people think we're going to be all the same.
Exactly.
That makes sense. We're not connected at all. Our cultures, there will be similarities because of the food and the ingredients that we have, the temperature, the climate, but the cultures are very different, from island to island. The histories, the politics, everything that went into it.
Exactly. Good point.
Wow, we just went historical. That's pretty cool.
But even as a singer doing jazz and soul and funk, people just assume that I'm American, They hear I'm from the Caribbean and they go, huh?
Right. They think you should be doing reggae, perhaps. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, that's one of the reasons I love the show, because I get to highlight so much Trinidadian and Caribbean talent and just show that there is a variety in the genres and the ways that people want to express themselves here. And it's not just tick a box and this is what you get if this is where you're from, because that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So my Bodi's coming to come. I think it's still probably a little soon. Let's see here. It's almost perfect, actually. I think I'll actually turn off the heat now. And this is something I do a lot. When something is about ready to be cooked, I normally will just put a lid on it and turn off the heat and let the residual heat and the heat that's already contained in the product or in the dish finish it off, so that it doesn't overcook. Because sometimes when you cook something and it reaches that point where it's like, oh, yummy, but you forget that it's still hot. So it's yummy when you taste it, but when you take off the heat or you cover it or you put it aside because you're not serving it right at that second, it continues to cook and then it starts to mush and move a little past that peak point. So I like to bring it almost to that peak point and then just turn off the heat, cover it, and let the residual heat do what residual heat is going to do. So hope hope that's a helpful point. Is that something you do or you've thought of, Shelley, or?
Actually, no, that's exactly right. I mean, I learned that lesson very early. You have to be careful because the minute you think it's done, you set it aside. I learned that through baking. You know, when you have to remove the cake from the mold or the pan itself, because if you keep it in there to cool, it keeps cooking and it crisps.
Exactly, and so you don't want, exactly. So, you know, sometimes when you have a cake, I mean, I know that's happened to me. I ain't perfect, you know, and it's almost like a little piece of toast on the outside. It's like,
right. And the same with cookies too. That's why it's nice to have the cookie rack where you can transfer it and put it on.
Exactly, and you get the air moving around and bringing the temperature down at an even pace. See?
Right.
Learning a thing. You're learning a thing here, man. Rolling. So my chicken's almost ready. I think it's going to be ready in about 5 minutes. And again, I've been calibrating the heat. I keep an eye on it. I want it to be browning, but not browning too fast. So sometimes I'm turning the heat up, sometimes I'm turning the heat down. I find with frying, it's not really something you can walk away from and just be like, oh, I got the temperature right, I'm just going to walk away. You do need to kind of keep monitoring it because the heat and the interaction fluctuates, and you just want to make sure everything is staying at the pace that you want it to be at. Yeah. And of course, my plantain's down there. Notice my plantain has not caused me any trouble so far. It is completely low maintenance. It's like a cactus dish almost.
So you don't have to flip the chicken. You can just leave it just like that?
But every now and then I just turn around the pieces just to make sure they're browning up. Let me give you a nice look. This one's looking pretty nice here. See?
Ooh, that looks so good. Wow.
You see what you see?
Okay, let me get a screenshot of that.
Yes, that's nice.
Woo! Wow!
Whoa! Man. See, and I'm frying it without a batter. Again, that's a way of, if you can have healthy fried food, this is a way of making it healthier. You don't need a big, heavy batter that's going to soak up all that extra oil and add all that extra fat and calories. This is just frying it in its, in its own skin, and the marinade has already seasoned the chicken soup, and we're just frying it as is, no batter. So. But as you can see, the color is gorgeous, and it will continue to deepen in the next, I would say, 8 minutes. At 8:50, I think it'll be ready to drain. Okay. Such a beautiful brown on that chicken. I just saw Shelley's little comment in the chat. So thank you, Shelley. So I think we're ready for our next song, Alicia. And this is the one that when I was, I first reconnected, I would say, with Alicia when she messaged TriniGourmet, and she had no idea that, you know, we went to school together or who I was or that there was a human being behind TriniGourmet. But she sent a tweet like, oh yeah, TriniGourmet, what kind of thing. And I was like, Alicia Saldenha. What? Click on the profile, Japan? What? Album? Huh? You know, so I had to bookmark that one time. It was just too amazing and just too interesting. But again, you know, I just love seeing the path that, you know, us Trinis take in life. You know, we're not restricted. We never think ourselves just in terms of our geographic perimeters, and I love that. So this song, when I went to check class, was the one that I just fell in love with, and I can over and over again. And I had to have it. Well, Doctor. And if everybody can hear it.
It's called Doctor. Okay.
Can't feel my heart, I think it might be broken. Can't feel my soul, I think it might be frozen. Doctor, can you help me figure out why I'm filled with all this doubt? I can't even trust myself. Will this nightmare ever end? Help me to love again. Help me to love again. Help me to love again. Yeah. Help me to love again. Can't find my way. No, I think it might be barricaded. Can't find my peace of mind, no. I think it might be agitated, yeah. Doctor, can you help me understand how I could trust such a wicked man? Now I don't know where to turn. Don't wanna watch my bridges burn. Help me to love again. Help me to love again, yeah. Help me to love again. Help me to love again, yeah, yeah. Cause I remember summer days when my true love was here, dancing in the evening breeze with his kisses in my hair. Oh, I remember summer days when my true love was here, dancing in the evening breeze with his kisses in my hair. Doctor, can you help me figure out why I'm filled with all this doubt? I can't even trust myself. Will this nightmare ever end? Doctor, can you help me understand how I could trust such a wicked man? Now I don't know where to turn. Don't wanna watch my bridges burn. Help me to love again. Help me to love again. Help me to love again. Yeah. Help me to love again. Yeah. Help me to love again. Help me to love again. Help me to love again. You can clap your hands too. Come on. Help me to love again. Yeah. Help me to love again. Yeah. Help me to love again. Yeah. Hey, help me to love again. Yeah. Oh, help me to love. Help me to love. Help me to love again. Help me to love again. Hey, help me to love. Help me to love. Help me to love again. Love again. Oh, help me to love. Help me to love. Help me to love again. Yeah. Ooh, oh, yeah. Help me to love again. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
You kill it, girl.
I was just trying to reconcile this with what I remember from high school.
The tie. Your uniform is done.
The quietest person. Oh my God. No. I love it. That's good
Amazing,
stuff.
huh?
Yeah.
Good stuff. That's great stuff.
She doesn't want to be reminded of the tie. She's.
I can see why. Yeah.
So, are you all ready for some chicken? Let's see if I can. Let me switch camera. Yes.
Wow. Oh, that looks incredible.
So there's the spicy fried chicken.
Wow.
Now, as you can see, no butter, but not really needed. You get that beautiful color. And if I hold it up close enough, there's still little bits of green seasoning inside the chicken, so you're gonna get those wonderful mouthfuls of shadow benny and pimento and ginger.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be delicious, and with that sear, it's gonna be juicy inside as well. Partly because of the marinating process, and again, just making sure that it's cooked through, and it's cooked through right. So it's gonna be very juicy,
Right.
and delicious.
It looks gorgeous.
Thank you,
Yeah,
honey.
it looks great too.
So I'm just going to put a piece or two here on my plate. Don't look at me, Jason. He's like, rude.
It's gonna be I keep feeling like there's going to be a hand popping in there.
You know? And here's my plantain dish.
Ooh, pretty.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh my God, so gorgeous.
Oh my God, that looks good.
And it's caramelized, and this is liquid right now, but as you know, as it cools, it'll thicken even more into a syrup, into a glaze, and cinnamony, just beautiful and cinnamony. And I just love to serve it. I find it's very elegant when it's served in strips rather than in little medallions.
Yeah.
So I like to do the strips, and just kind of just plate that. I'm just gonna put it on the plate right now, and you'll see the finished, how it all comes together. So let me just do that. My God, it's so silent. I feel like there's anticipation going on here.
I'm leaning forward
Wow, y'all.
towards the screen.
So this is the
Not that
finished
it's going to
dish here.
help, but
Let's see if I can.
Oh, wow.
Wait, hold on. Let me get some chicken in there as well.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
So that's the finished dish here.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Roast chicken, spicy fried chicken, our caramelized plantain baked in orange juice, our steamed Bodi, green beans and garlic sauce, and just some plain white rice to bring it all together.
Yum.
Good stuff.
And don't forget the rum punch.
Oh, no. Don't forget
Never
that.
forget it. So how y'all think y'all could make any of these dishes yourselves now that you've seen me do it?
Yeah, it's really, the ginger wine was something way new, and I bet you nickel they have it around here because we have such access to, all kinds of nationalities of food, but I just never noticed it, and we love ginger, and we love it. So
I'm just sprinkling a little finishing salt here. This was sent to me by a food blogger years ago, actually, and I miss it. It's fleur de sel. It's a French finishing salt, and I love it to death. And this is not a salt you cook with. You just put it as a slight sprinkle for accent at the end of a dish, and it is just so beautiful. That's why it could last me for years, because, again, you don't cook with it. You just take a little pinch, and you sprinkle it, and it just heightens the flavor. You don't even taste salt. It's like a strange, what did you add to this kind of accent to the dish? And so I just put some of that on the fried chicken because I think that's going to kick it up a notch a little bit there. So are there any questions on the event stream before I start to wrap things up?
Yeah. Are you FedExing any of tonight's meals?
Who asked that?
Giselle.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think it would survive FedEx. This is all going to just have to be eaten by me and mine over the next day, over tonight and the next day. So I hope everyone had a great time. I hope everyone was glad, and probably took away a tip or two that they can use in their cooking. Again, I want to remind everyone Alicia's album is Dance in the Sun, and it's available on iTunes. And you can also check out her site, lovealicia.com. And you have any performances or projects coming up that you want the audience to know about?
I'm taking a little break because I'm going to run away to Malaysia for a few weeks.
Oh,
The
such a
cold.
hardship.
But when I get back in the spring, I'll be performing at there's a Takatsuki Jazz Street in Japan. That's in May, so I'll be there, and I'm trying to set some concerts up in Malaysia as well, actually. So
Wonderful. But I know that there are a lot of Malaysians and jazz aficionados on the Malaysian side of things here on G+. So hopefully the word of this performance as well will get around to them.
That would be great. Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
Oh, great. I'm so glad. And because it's Tokyo, she had to be ready for 9 a.m., which, as you know, jazz musicians, 9 a.m., what? Does not compute. Fatal error. So I really appreciate you making your way and being able to make it here today. And Petra, of course, you're going to be my guest cook next week. So now you have a little taste of what you're going to be in for.
Yep.
Are you up for it?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Ale cuisine, as they say on Iron Chef. You've been warned. And of course, thanks George, Marilyn, Des, John, Shelley. But Shelley, I actually wanted you to talk a little bit because we have a few little times, a little bit under time. I got that email today, and I saw that you mentioned me in that post, and I just thought that was really lovely. Do you want to tell the people a little bit about what you have going for March? Because Shelley has this wonderful program about eating what you love and wellness and understanding the relationship between food and your emotions and your body. And she has it mapped out. Each month has a theme. So you want to talk a little bit about March?
Sure. So March is International Women's Wellness Month. And for March, I'm focusing on women's wellness. And, you know, when we think about wellness, we think about generally just sort of like exercise, go to the gym, eat an apple a day, this sort of thing. But I really want to expand the vocabulary of what wellness is. So I'm focusing on kitchen wellness, which is what I sent out today, where I send out resources on ways to get your kitchen in stock. And kitchen wellness is essentially having a kitchen that's stocked with foods that feed your health and you and your taste buds and your best life. So not necessarily a bunch of salads or following some sort of prescribed diet, but really just stocking a kitchen that makes sense for your body. And then I'm also going to feature emotional wellness. I'm going to introduce the concept of womb wellness, which is really for women to hone in on their intuition and trust their gut. Also looking at relationship wellness and the ways that we can create relationships in our lives to really keep us well. So you can go to eatrelatelove.com. That's eatrelatelove.com. And you'll see the different blog posts. And if you want to keep up with this month, you can definitely stay tuned. And I'm also offering Belly Breakthroughs, which is a one-on-one session with me. So, you know, as you begin to understand what helps and what keeps you well as you're reading the emails and reading the posts, but you need help particularly around your own wellness goals, I am more than happy to serve as a guide and help you through that process. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I love your work, Shelley. I mean, honestly, it's not even lip service because I'm somebody, I'm no stranger to emotional eating. I don't think most people are. Right. And ever since you spoke about LOVE, the V in particular has stood out for me because a lot of time I do battle cravings, but now that I think about it as vibes and vibing, it has been so much easier. So like sometimes I'm like thinking, I need chips, and then I'm like thinking, wait, I'm really feeling a vibe with some pawpaw right now. I'm craving the chips, but the vibe is for fruit. And and so I will have the apple instead, and the chip craving goes away. So I find that if I'm, in terms of thinking about what food am I really vibing with right now, that has helped immensely instead of thinking in terms of craving and saying, no, I can't have, I mustn't have. It's much more, it's much more conciliatory, to work with it in sense of vibing. It's like
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm loving it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and actually it's funny because I know you mostly speak to women and about women, but since the show, quite a few guys have told me they've signed up for your newsletter. So
Yes.
So there are a lot of guys battling with the issue as well. They probably just don't have the avenues to talk about it. I don't think many guys turn to their bro and be like, dude, I'm feeling for some chocolate now. I don't think it's really a dude thing, but they're dealing with it on their own as well. So
You're right.
So it's a great message, eatrelatelove.com. So I think we're going to call it a night tonight. Like I said, the recipes are on the event stream. If you have any questions about any of the recipes, you can contact me either on the event page, on my Google Plus profile, or on TriniGourmet.com, and I'd be happy to help you out. Until next week, when I have, it's going to be a little more jazz this month. I have a jazz guitarist next week, Dean Williams. He is brilliant. He's here in Trinidad. His work is amazing. I don't know if you know him, Alicia, if you've heard about him. If you can tune in to next week's show, I think you're going to love him. He is an amazing artist. And Petra is going to be my guest cook, in the house. So until next week, everyone, good night.
Good night.
Bye.